I guess that's my next question, Adam. Do you need Hollywood anymore? Because you're writing books, you're doing comedy, you've got your show. Do you still need them maybe the same way you might have needed them 20 years ago?
No, I don't need them at all, and thank God,
Right.
because I'm not welcome. I mean, there is no Hollywood for me. It's all my own. I generate my own business. It's I do not get calls to do TV shows or sitcoms or guest appearances, or there is no there is no Hollywood for me. I was pretty much done, or I should say Hollywood was pretty much done with me uh, 5 years ago. And then when COVID hit, that was it. I mean, it was essentially a relationship that was on the rocks for 5 years, and then someone just caught me having sex with my wife's sister, and that's it. Now it's over. So COVID put a nail, or put the last nail in, I'd say, the coffin of me in Hollywood.
Is that because what you said about COVID?
I think what I said, how I acted, yes, for sure. What
Okay.
I said about COVID.
And so it sounds like in Hollywood and maybe in other places in the US, you kind of you're on one side where you have to choose all the same issues, as in I wear the mask, I feel the same about COVID, I vote Democrat, genders are fluid, there's birthers. It sounds like you have to make all of those choices on this side, and if you're on the other side, if you disagree with some of those, is it very much like that?
Yeah, it's very much like they don't allow a lot of wiggle room or nuance of thought. So I have elderly parents and I have young kids. And as it pertains to, let's say, the vaccine. So I would say, by the way, I've never said a word about vaccines my entire life. Yeah, I'm not Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm like vaccines. Yeah, sure, get a vaccine. Makes sense to me. If you're traveling to Africa, get a vaccine for malaria or whatever you got to do. Like I've never given it any thought. I've just went, whatever the doctor tells you to do, or whatever the school board tells you to do, go do it. But then let's say the COVID vaccine came about. So I would say, to my elderly parents, you should get the vaccine. And then I would say to my teenage son, you don't need the vaccine. You're healthy, you're young. It's not going to affect you like it would affect my parents. And I have no idea what the ramifications of the vaccine down the road for you might be, 15-year-old. For you, 90-year-old, who cares? So get the vaccine, and you don't get the vaccine. That then makes you an anti-vaxxer in the eyes of Hollywood, even though I've never said anything about vaccines my entire career, because I've had no thoughts about them. This one I sized up and went, you get it and you don't need it. And those kind of thoughts, or why are we wearing masks outside, or many other nuanced thoughts like that, those are the kind of thoughts that would get you put into a sort of COVID denier, I guess, group. And that's where it is. Now, for me, and most people are scared, and most people have to work in Hollywood. That's their livelihood. So they don't agree with it, but they definitely shut up about it because they're frightened. And look, rightfully so. A lot of people have been canceled. So for me, it's like I say to people, they go, well, then you get ostracized and you get criticized and you get shunned. And they go, isn't that uncomfortable? Like, don't you dislike that? And I go, well, to some extent, yeah. Everyone wants to be invited to the party. But I said, if you were at a convention for flat earthers and you had to get up in the podium and speak, would you say the earth is flat? And my answer is, I wouldn't. I'd say the earth is round. And then everyone would start booing. And I'd say, I don't know what you want me to tell you. That's what it is. And then the after party would suck for me. But the earth is round. So that's what I'm going to say. And that's how I felt about COVID. So the after party sucked, living in Hollywood and speaking the way I was speaking about COVID. But what are my choices? Join you in saying the earth is flat? I couldn't live with myself.
Yeah, I always love that analogy. It's funny, when all that was happening in 2020, we got into a big fight with YouTube with kind of freedom of speech issues. And that was always one of my examples. Like the flat earthers, they were all over YouTube and they were allowed to talk about things that were crazy. But if you had different opinions on, masks and COVID and vaccines, those were taken off. So it's always kind of a fascinating.
It'll all come out that it was all part of the big plan anyway. It's already trickling out that all these big tech companies were in cahoots with the government and the messaging and the deplatforming dissenting voices. It's all going to come out. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's all going to come out that people were being silenced, and it wasn't a coincidence.
Yeah, we felt the sharp end of that. I always thought crazy people got censored until it happens to you, and then you're like, oh, it's not just. I got
put in YouTube jail because we played a clip of the guy who runs County USC Hospital saying, "We're not full. Our ICU is not full. We're not filled with COVID patients. We have open beds. I don't know what people are saying. That's not what's happening at our hospital." The guy who runs the hospital said that. We showed the clip and we got put in YouTube jail for COVID misinformation. So these people they're insane, but obviously insane with an agenda. And that's the scary part.
I'm looking for partners, collaborators, colleagues who want to join forces with me around the globe and create real value, generational wealth, and financial freedom for everyone else around the world. Get involved in the cryptocurrency markets, get involved in the NFT markets. This is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments. Don't let this pass. Now it's not too late. Next year's going to be too late. Ultimately, this is about freedom. That's the way I see it. This is about giving power back to the people and enabling billions of people worldwide to use the financial markets to improve their lives and those of their friends and their families and their communities. Honestly, I think it's a violation of human rights not to allow people basic access to financial services. Because right now people are being kept in the dark, they're being robbed of education, and it's a travesty. And so I'm looking for people that want to join me and be a part of this solution. And that all happens inside the DeFi Academy. The gains my students are making are absolutely amazing. Double, triple digit gains in the first month alone. That's amazing. This will change your life. Now is the time to get involved. I'm going to tell you exactly how my students in my academy made money in the last 30 days. I'm talking about real trading results. And let me just whet your appetite a little bit. Let me hit you with some numbers. I'm talking Brendan from New Zealand is up 68.77% on the month. Steve from Europe up 83%. Albert in Singapore up 169.9% on one single trade. I got Susan up 153% on her call options alone, also rocking 139% returns and 442% returns as well on individual trades. These are people that are changing their financial future in the last 30 days, but it's based on trading discipline.
I've graduated over 500 students from inside my academy from over 54 countries around the world. It's amazing. When it comes to crypto, DeFi, and blockchain, we love this space. We truly believe it's the future. This is down to our core. It's authentic to what we're doing, and everybody can tell through the camera because you can't make this stuff up.
If you're watching me now, wherever you are, I implore you, take 60 seconds right now and join my academy. Apply today. Now you've got a chance. Life all comes down to a few moments. What are you going to do? What's the choice that you're going to make?